and targeted 7 times. He had
Hey,
6 catches
hello.
for
It's
84
Gilbert
yards
podcast.
and a touchdown.
Wow,
This
what a start.
this night sucks, Elliot. Like this is, he has an
Defensively,
awesome
Newman
job.
at
99
9
of the time.
tackles.
This is the freaking
Burns
1%.
had 7
Where
tackles, 2
look, it is
sacks
what it is. I had to talk
for a loss of
almost an
17
hour
yards, 2
about
quarterback hits,
the
and
single
2 TFLs.
all-time
And
biggest
of course, Flott
blunder, choke moment,
had
brain
1 tackle for
loss,
loss
whatever you want to call
and
it,
the
in the history of my
68-yard
lifetime until
interception
he's
return.
forced to end a series, to end a season. And then, out of the corner of my eye, on my second TV, I'm trying to pay attention to the Eagles against a not good Giants team in New York. And then, look, there's no more talk of preseason. I didn't get to, I'll be completely honest, playoff baseball, I HopeSpot after that. Like, I was on every pitch of that. That was as locked in and as intense a sporting experience as I remember in a really long time. And the way it ended, obviously, just what a disaster to end that way. Like, it feels so unfair that game ended that way. But I'm gonna have to watch this Eagles game again to really give people real thoughts on
Well,
it.
James, you want some advice on rewatching that game?
Don't
yeah, I would
Here's
maybe
what I'll
not.
say, Elliot, and I'm going to let you carry it because you were there and you saw it and you have way more to say. But off the top, there's no preseason. Look, they won the Super Bowl last year, and I am not going to freak out in terms of I'm not going to hate anyone. I'm not going to be angry at anyone. But as far as this new season goes, it ain't preseason anymore in my mind. That whatever happened tonight and what I saw was the end and the disaster and the last touchdown and them just kind of stink. And I saw Jalen throw the pick and whatever the hell's going on with Jay and AJ, whatever those going, and they were apparently passing with pretty decent tonight from what I saw, but whatever the hell's going on with the offense, whatever the hell's going on with the play calling, the coaching, the team, the injury issues. I mean, Quinyon Mitchell, I find out goes out there. I didn't even know. It's just not okay, Elliot. I'm not going to defend any of it. We're not in it's all good territory anymore. Losing the Giants on Thursday, and there's a lot of season left, but losing the Giants on Thursday night, no matter how it came about, is not okay.
Yeah, so look, I think obviously there is perspective here, but it's not really a time for perspective right now. That was one of the worst performances of the Sirianni era, without question. And it's probably their worst loss since the last time they were here when a season was collapsing in 2023. When they came here to try to save the season, they tried to play the starters and it went so poorly they pulled them. They were not super competitive tonight.
Well, I guess the playoff loss, if you count that.
There's that one. Yeah, but man,
you're right.
I mean, this was really, really bad. And the best way I can describe it before we get into some of the more specifics I saw and why it happened is just the Giants wanted it more than the Eagles tonight. One team looked interested in winning that game. Jackson Dart, Cam Scatterbo, the Giants, Brian Burns, they wanted to win tonight. They played hard. They played harder than the Eagles. They seemed more interested in winning the game. They played with more swagger, and the Eagles just looked completely disinterested. They were bullied around. You rarely ever see that from the Eagles. Nick talks about tough, detailed together. I don't think there were any three of those tonight, and they certainly weren't tough. It was an unacceptable performance, but frankly, it's a performance that's been coming. The season is trending down right now. This is not it's one of those nights. This is not it's a short week. This is kind of what they've looked like all year. It just all culminated into a disastrous performance tonight. Full stop, absolutely disastrous performance. I do my report card. And I hesitate to give everybody an F, but I didn't know what else to give them. I tried to talk myself into a D minus for some of them. I gave Jalen an F. I gave the coaching staff an F. I gave the offense an F. I gave the defense an F. And to make myself feel better, I gave special teams a C, so it wasn't straight Fs down the thing. It was horrendous. And we'll get into the blame game, but they got 10 days to figure this out. Full stop, 10 days. And the mini buy could not come full stop. I got to stop saying that. I know.
Well, if you're going to say it, you go full stop.
Yeah. And then exactly. So they have got to figure this out. And to your point, they did just win the Super Bowl. Like there are all those things, but this season is in some serious trouble.
Totally.
I got my Giants friends, reporters texting me being like, this Eagles team is cooked. Like coming into tonight, I was, I'm talking to the Giants people and it's like the Giants are bad. Like the Giants looked way better than the Eagles did tonight. They doubled them up. Like think about that. And again, like there were a lot of really concerning parts of it, but I really do think the most concerning part is how disinterested the Eagles look. They didn't look like they wanted to be out there. They didn't like once the score got out of hand, they looked like they had zero interest in coming back from that. So big picture, kind of how I said last week against the Broncos, when the product is that poor on the field, it falls on Nick Sirianni. Like he's the top dog. But Jalen Hurts was awful tonight. Jalen Hurts was awful. Like I don't care.
That pick I saw was a disaster.
So the pick
was like, what are you doing, dude?
So I don't know if you saw this play, but
it wasn't the worst throw in Philly sports tonight, sadly.
Yeah, well, there you go. I mean, both were off target, but like
no, there will be no worse throw this year in Philly.
But honestly, like, all right, so it's just to tie the Phillies to it. Like, say what you will about the Phillies, they fought tonight, man.
Look, I'm with you. They
fought. No, but what I'm saying is the Eagles did not. Like, the Eagles did not, right?
And look, it's a playoff game, and it's a Thursday. Like, I think. If you want, and I'm with you, I like unacceptable all that. Like, I think that, look, I said last pod that I think the two of the things that I underrated the most is like not giving enough credence to what we saw with how hard it is just go to the Super Bowl and turn around and be motivated and get back to it and all that. Look, it took that Nick Foles team in 2018, Foles coming in, getting in the playoffs match, and like they felt like it was like, oh my God, they actually could go. Like, so like seasons are weird and things happen and stuff like that. But this team, to your point, like that and the fact they do think they're going to get everyone's best shot to the point you're making about the Giants. Like, I think, it is something where when you win and you're the Super Bowl champ, like you're not going to the point, I think clearly the Eagles are functioning poorly right now, and they've
hold on.
But I also think they probably took the Giants somewhat lightly and went in a Thursday night game, and they're like, we're better than the Giants, and the Giants were like, we're gonna whoop the Super Bowl champs' ass, and they did. And to your point, I think that's a massive issue that this Eagles team is not like focused and locked in, because I don't think that you can be a repeat champ unless you are freaking lock the hell in.
Well, but hold on to that.
It's early in the season, but I'm just saying, I think that's the concern.
Right, but what I heard all off season, and I said some of it too, was that this team's different. Look at the leadership, and like they don't
look that way so
far.
Well,
that's what I'm saying. They look exactly like 2023. Like everybody, like we've seen the team in a somewhat similar situation, and this is exactly what it looked like. Like when I know they won it in 24 and lost it in 22, and there's a difference. But the team the season after looks exactly the same. So I'm not sure what they learned, but to where I was gonna say is the Jalen pick six was absolute, or not pick six. The Jalen interception was really bad. Poor throw, poor decision, like all of it. It wasn't his worst throw of the night. This game was lost when Jalen Hurts missed a wide open Devontae Smith for a touchdown in the third quarter. The game was still competitive. The pocket was clean. Devontae was wide open. There will be no like he slowed down on this one, right? That pass changed the game, and this really brings it down. Like Nick Sirianni deserves overall blame for the product on the field. Jalen Hurts is killing this team right now, and he killed them tonight. He's not playing well enough. We want to talk about Jalen as a leader. The team is not performing at a level where it looks like they have strong leadership right now. And that's not all Jalen. He's not the only leader, but this is what he is the leader of the team, and he's the one that's supposed to set the tone. And he played awful tonight. And that missed pass was terrible. He took bad sacks in the interception while the game felt like it was over. They score a touchdown there. Things are different. That was a horrendous pass. So Jalen Hurts was the reason that they lost the game tonight in terms of physical play. Overall, yes, the whole team was disgustingly bad. Like all those things are true. But Jalen, much like in 23, when Jalen came off of 22, is having a bad year. He is having a bad season. Like he is absolutely just not playing to the level that everybody thought he would. Me and you talked about it. I was in on it. I said, buy Jalen stock after the Super Bowl. The stock is tanking right now. Like I've lost my money on that stock I bought from Jalen. Now, does that mean I'm selling it? No. Does that mean it can't go back up? No. But let's call it what it is. The problem with the team right now is the quarterback. The quarterback is playing it.
There's a lot of problems, dude.
But
I didn't watch the game tonight mostly, and I saw
right, but I know, but like
I
tonight,
think it's unfair to put it all on Jalen. I think Jalen's playing bad. I think you could say that Jalen isn't playing good and all that, but like, dude, the offensive line has been hurt and not put together.
The offensive line gave Jalen a completely clean pocket, and he missed it.
Bad. The predictability of the run pass thing is embarrassing. 6 weeks into the season, like I saw it again tonight, people talking about it. Like it's like every single time they're in a certain formation, the defense knows exactly what they're going to do. Like that's not acceptable either, and that's not on Jalen Hurts. So like I here's the thing. Like I find it hard right now when I just saw the Phillies who did fight, and you're right. Like I was proud of the fight that they showed, but I saw the Phillies lose and a season end, 165 games, and on a mental disaster in a moment from a kid, which I feel horrible for him, and I feel horrible for all of us, and I feel horrible for his teammates. I feel horrible for everyone because it just sucks, because it's like the worst thing that could happen. But like, you know what? Like it's a Thursday night game in week 6, and it sucks, and they're not playing good football. But like, I'm not gonna freaking freak out like you are.
I'm not freaking out. I'm just saying what's happening.
I think Jalen's not having a great season, but I think everyone is not having a great
season. I agree with that.
You have to figure out the freaking culture in there. I think that like the Jalen AJ stuff is clearly filtering into how they play football. I think that the offensive line is hurt. I think Saquon's diminished from what he was last year. I don't care what anyone says in terms of a play-to-play basis. He has not been the same. I think that, and again, the O-line has been a disaster. Like, I think Nick Sirianni has done a bad job. I think Kevin Patullo's done a bad job. I think Jalen Hurts has done a bad job.
Yes, I agree with all that.
But again, like I don't have the venom for it that you do. Like,
I don't have. Hold on.
Sounds like you do.
No. Hold on.
Towards Jalen, like it's week 6. Like my point is, like it's been a bad. Like they're 4-2 right now. Jalen hasn't played great, like, but there's no. But Jalen left. They have to figure it out. Like, hold on, and they might not. But like, my point is, like, it just is like, I don't know. Like, I struggle to like react to this game with the frame of like what I just said with like the Nick Foles season, much less what they were last season early on. This and that. It's bad right now, but I think the bigger issues are the injuries, are the way everyone's playing all together. Like, I just don't think it's as easy as saying like Jalen's been horrible and that's why they're horrible. Like,
well, I didn't say that though.
So much more. You said Jalen is.
I said he's the biggest problem. I
think the coaching is the biggest problem. Overall,
I know.
I think the combination of what Nick Sirianni has done and the lack of freaking this team functioning at any sort of high level in so many different areas. And then Kevin Patullo, who I know you've defended, I think has stunk so far this season. And I think the fact that we hear these 80% out of this, 85% out of that, like the teams know exactly what's coming. Like that's not on Jalen. So I think it's a combination of them. But if I had to pick one of the two, I would pick the coaching over Jalen.
Okay, so hold on. Give me a second to talk.
Mm-hmm.
So I agree with you. The coaching has not been good. That ultimately they are responsible for the product on the field. The offensive line has not been good. But I also know that there was a moment in tonight's game where it was still a competitive game. They could still win it. The pocket was clean. The play call got Devontae. Hold on. And Jalen missed it, right? So the point I'm making is this: is ultimately, I think this is still about execution. The culture, all that is on the coaches, right? And it's on Jalen too, for what it's worth, right?
If we're gonna, think it's about execution. I think they're.
Well, I don't know what to tell you if you don't think it's about execution.
That play was about execution. It's one play, man.
Dude, he threw an interception in the red zone that almost got taken back for a touchdown.
I think Jalen has stunk too.
Agreed.
My point is I think it's way more like 55-45 coaches. And like, but I think it's Jalen, and then I think there's a portion that's the offensive line and the way the receiver, like AJ has not shown a ton of effort on stuff. There have been multiple videos of him quitting on routes out there and all that stuff. Like, I think Jalen has not been good. Like full stop.
Right.
I think that there is so much more to this than to say Jalen is the main reason. I don't think he is. I think it is way more of there are a lot of reasons that this team is playing bad right now. And I think that coaching is probably top for me. Jalen is probably too, but I think it's a big portion for a lot of things.
Right. And just like there were a lot of reasons they won the Super Bowl last year, right? But me and you both agree the main reason they won it was because Jalen, as the most important player on the field and on the team, was elite last year. We both agree with that, right? So, yes, I'm not saying it's 100% Jalen, but what I'm saying is that offense tonight, in this game tonight, he was the main problem. And I think ultimately for the offense this year, his poor play has been the problem. Does that mean the coaching staff has been great? No. Does that mean the offensive line has been great? No. But there have been moments. I mean, Chil Kapadia was on your show, right? And said that he thought Jalen had the worst game of his season last week against Denver. Tonight was worse than that. So we're talking about 2 straight games where Jalen has been really bad.
Chil also said that the offense is predictable and bad. Like,
but why do we? I mean, this is just like 2023. It's literally reliving 2023.
Was Jalen making that throw? But again, things can be true. Like, an offensive coordinator cannot be good at his job yet. Maybe he can become good at it. But like, my point is that I like I said, I would have the coaching one and Jalen two. Like, I'm not absolving Jalen of blame. I think that we just have a fundamental disagreement right now about how much of it is execution versus how much of it is scheme and coaching. And I think a slightly larger portion of the pie for the offense's struggles is scheme and coaching, especially when the defense knows what's coming. Like, that is such a massive freaking thing. But I like that's just our fundamental disagreement. Like, again, I am not absolving Jalen of blame. I would have Jalen number 2. I just think you say it so definitively, like it's clear Jalen's the main thing, and I disagree with that.
That's just because when it comes to the quarterback, hold on, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, it says the host. Okay. That's just because when it comes to the quarterback, like again, it's always him. And we can focus on this game a little more tonight too, quickly.
For me,
yes. Well, of course, it's my opinion. I agree.
But I think it's both. But I think it's more.
Yeah, well, of course it's both. It's not 100% one way or the other. But let's talk about other things because I'm gonna have to go down the locker room soon. The defense tonight was terrible. Keely Ringo was terrible. Keely basically got benched early on in the game, only got put back in because Quinion got hurt. Keely early on, really bad. Like, I like Jackson Dart. We talked about Dart. Like, I'm in on him. I think he's going to be good. I think he does add life to this Giants team. But at the end of the day, he is a rookie quarterback making his 3rd start. Cam Scatterbo is a mid-round draft pick. They got no receivers over there with Malik Neighbors not playing, obviously, and Darius Slayton out. Their offensive line is bad. And they went up and down the field on that Eagles offense. They could have scored more points if they wanted. So, like, the defense also equally terrible. They got like no pass rush. And a concern moving forward, to your point about the injuries, I don't know if Jalen Carter is going to play against Minnesota. And Quinion now has a hamstring injury, so he has a little bit, right?
They're their 2 best defensive players. Like,
so,
it's so bad.
Look, it's a reaction pod, but like this season,
I'm. Let me put it this way. I'm not saying I am very concerned about this season. Like, I am.
Yeah.
But again, the things that make me concerned about the season are not Jalen. The things that make me
well, but you have to be concerned about Jalen, to be clear. It's just not your top.
No, but in terms of like in this game, and I can say the struggle so far because we put him high, but like in terms of my I trust Jalen and like and again, I don't know how big a Jalen AJ thing this is, and like what the real issues are and how impactful that is. But I think the injuries on the offensive line, I think the Jalen Carter injury, the Quinion Mitchell injury, the ability to potentially fall in a hole because of injuries, and like the wear and tear on these guys, both mentally and physically, from going through and the push to win the Super Bowl. Look, we talk so much about the drive that Jalen has and Nick Sirianni has and all that, but like you need all these guys to want to push like through that and to again take every team's best shot every week and to like fight. And you know what? Maybe as a group, as a team, like they between the wear and tear on the bodies and the mental want to and whatever, they're mentally tough. I'm not saying that at all, but maybe it's just too much. Again, it's really hard to repeat. And maybe between that, it's all going to break down and it's going to look bad. Like that's a possible outcome. Or maybe Nick Sirianni and Jalen figure it out and they kind of right the ship and they're a competitive team. But look, I think right now it's hard to look at this team and think, hey, this is a team that's going to make noise. It's just, it's early. The thing that concerns me by far the most is the injuries right now. By far.
Yeah. So I got to get down to the locker room. So because I do think it's going to be an interesting locker room. But I would just end this by saying we'll talk about this more in depth next week. But like Yeah, it's really, really bad right now. But they do have the mini bye. We'll see how they come out against Minnesota. But if they come out like against Minnesota looking like this season is a dunzo. Like if they do 10 days with an inability to play better than they did tonight, and they come out with the same type of effort and the offense looking bad and the vibes being bad, then yes, this season, like, just watch Super Bowl highlights every week because this is 2023. I know everyone said they have a better defense, but 2023 was 2023 because of the vibes, the turnovers, all those things. And that's what you saw tonight. Turnovers, bad vibes. Like, so the season is in trouble and they got 10 days to fix it. So we'll see if they're able to do it.
I actually agree with you on the 10-day thing. And again, the Carter and Quinion injuries are just so big. Like it changes the whole defense. They don't have a great defense without those guys, most likely. You know, so I'm with you. I think if they look horrible against the Vikings, it's a panic time for the season.
Yeah.
All right,
For sure.
Get down there. We'll talk later. Well, Saturday, the Radio Show. Check it out. Our picks at some point. Until then, he's a